My full name is Aprana, and I'm a CA, CPA, and I worked in corporate, and I've been teaching for the last 7-8 years now, etc., etc. If you want to know more about me, you can go to our website. Yeah, a digital marketing person has written one big paragraph about me, so you can read that. You will get some background where I've worked and so on and so forth. Yeah. Now, we are of course here to start with management accounting. Yeah. And there are going to be few for whom this is the first ACCA subject. For some, you've already done some of the subjects and so on and so forth. So I have a small PPT first to share, in which we are going to try and understand what all is included in the subject, what is going to be the teaching methodology, what is the ideal way of studying, what is the paper pattern, and so on and so forth. Once we are done with that, then I need some basic information about all of you. Right, in the sense which year of college are you, is it's your first paper or no, ACC registration ho gaya, nahi ho gaya, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so I'm going to be sharing my PPT. Those who are online, am I audible and can you see me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, lovely. Okay. So at any point you cannot hear, etc., etc., any disturbance, just raise your hand so I know कि कुछ problem है and I stop myself. Cool. So I'm sharing my screen now with this small PPT that I have about the subject. And I'm not going to do the PPT mode because it goes somewhere else only altogether. You are able to see? Lovely. So as I told you, we are here for management accounting. It is one of the knowledge level subjects, right? So ACCA, everybody knows the 3 stages that you all are going to go through. You have the knowledge level, skill level, and then the professional level. So you are still here, babies right now, doing the knowledge level, and you are in management accounting of knowledge level. Yeah. So the subject will automatically scare you in a few days. But just to give you an advance warning, this is one of the tougher papers in the knowledge level. Yeah. Now you might hear people telling you कि अरे तुम्हारा first knowledge level है तो MA क्यों कर रहे हो and so on and so forth. Believe me, it doesn't matter. Because anyways, the other 2 subjects, BT and FA, have got nothing to do with MA. So it's not that if you've done BT or you've done financial accounting, you're going to be able to deal better with management accounting. It just doesn't make any difference. The only difference, if it makes, is if anywhere in your other studies you've done costing, which I don't think anybody does at a knowledge level. So costing is a subject that you do either when you're doing your CA at an inter level, or if you are in second year of BCom, that is where you get introduced to costing. And that is what makes this subject a little trickier than the others, because you all know what is financial accounting, right? You all have been doing financial accounting since 11th standard. But management accounting is something that you all have not done before. Costing is what we call it in common parlance, and that is what makes the subject a little tricky. So thoda extra effort to jaane wala hai. So the first time you all learned debit, credit, so on and so forth, it was challenging, right? So consider this as the first time ever you all are doing costing. So a little more effort from the other 2 subjects is definitely going over there. Yeah, that is to begin with. Now, coming to our syllabus, right? What is our syllabus in MA? So every ACCA subject gets divided into parts, right? So we have 6 parts to the syllabus. Part A is nature, source, and purpose, as usual, some background about the subject. Part B, we talk about data analysis and statistical techniques. When we get into the topics, I will explain you why we are studying all this when we are studying management accounting. Because as a management accountant, you are constantly dealing with data. You are constantly dealing with data. So you need to know how to use that data. That's why we talk about what are the statistical techniques that you have and what are the data analysis tools that you all have in hand so that you can handle all that data better, right? Then we come to hardcore technical aspects of the subject. So part C onwards, we are on a roller coaster, right? So we start with cost accounting techniques, then we get into something called budgeting, then we move on to standard costing, and in the last we do performance measurement. So your syllabus is divided into these broad 6 parts. Now, what are we trying to understand here? after studying management accounting, you are expected to have developed knowledge and understanding of management accounting techniques to support the management. Which management? Management of the company you are going to be working for. Management of the company you are going to be working for. And what are you going to help them with? You're going to help them with planning, controlling, and monitoring performance. Right? Our syllabus also goes in the same way. In the syllabus, we start with planning, we move on to controlling, and the last aspect we study is monitoring performance. So this is what the subject is supposed to introduce you to. It's a foundation level exam, I already told you. But one important thing about MA is MA almost 100% links into a skill level subject called performance management. You know MA, 60% of your PM is taken care of. So that is where I feel students who do ACCA at the foundation level always have an advantage because they've done MA in the foundation level. Those who directly jump on to PM, they struggle a little bit. So you've done MA. I have had students who've done MA and have finished PM in 1 month and taken the PM exam. So that heavily interlinked MA and PM. So the reason I'm telling you this, it is not a subject where you read exam hui, raat gayi, baat gayi, we are done. That is how generally we study, no, in BCom. Ho gaya abhi paper, bhul gaye kya tha paper mein. You just cannot afford this over here. So MA heavily links into PM. PM heavily links into your professional level subject called APM. So we are talking about a string of subjects over here. So all interlinked into each other. So understanding of the foundation level paper is very, very important over here. Is that okay? Lovely. Introducing you all to the pattern of the paper. Yeah, a lot of students feel very happy when they look at the pattern of the paper. Why? Because it is all MC. Yeah, some of them like, ma'am, MCQ तो है, क्या पूछ के क्या पूछ लेंगे? तो जब पेपर सामने आता है तो तारे दिखते हैं. Yeah, because their MCQs are next level, right? So the paper gets divided only into 2 parts. You have a section A, which has 35 objective questions, and each question carries 2 marks. Typically, section A जो है, it covers the entire syllabus. Typically, section A covers the entire syllabus. Then you have something called as section B, in which you have 3 multitask questions of 10 marks each. So section A is 70 marks, 35 into 2, and this is 10 into 3. That goes your remaining 30 marks. So that counts to your 100 marks altogether. Multitask questions kaise different hai? In a multitask question, you are given a scenario. And based on that scenario, they ask you 5 questions. So all the 5 questions are interlinked to the task given to you. Yeah. Typically, the MTQs or the multitask questions come from the topics of budgeting, standard costing, and performance measurement. In the sense, we are talking about part D, E, and F. Is that okay? So part D, E, and F are the topics where we do MTQs. So when we are going to begin with the subject and when we do the exam kit initially, we are only going to be doing MCQs. Only when we reach the budgeting part, will we start doing MTQs. Is that okay? Lovely. So ये हो गया pattern of the paper. Now, it's a computer-based exam. Again, for those who are not familiar with ACCA pattern, you have no option. You have to come and give your exam on a computer only. We are an exam center. You can book your exam here, or if you're from some other city, you want to give an exam in your city, you are not free to look for a center there and take your exam there. Otherwise, we have a center here and you can book your exam over here. You also have an option of taking exams from home. Yeah. We've been told as tutors to specifically inform students that they have option to take exams from home. There is a whole long process that you have to follow for it. So if you have a dedicated internet line which is stable, you have a reasonably good machine, computer, and if you have a room to yourself, which you can lock yourself for 2 hours, then you can even think of taking exams from home. Okay, but इतना बात याद रखना, जब तुम एग्जाम घर से देते हो, the responsibility is entirely yours, right? Anyway, so if anybody wants to give home based, then I will talk more about it. As of now, I don't know too many students who want to really sit at home and give their exams. या कॉपिंग इतना इजी नहीं है होम बेस्ड एग्जाम में, तो ऐसा मत सोचना कि हाँ मैं तो घर से दूंगा, कॉपी कर लूंगा, हो गया मेरा काम. या दे आर सो स्ट्रिक्ट दैट इवन इफ यू लुक अप लाइक दिस, the proctor will pause your exam and ask you why did you look up. So forget looking at notes and other things, तो भूल ही जाओ तुम. Even eye rolling is not allowed when you're giving home based exams, so they proctor you that closely. Yeah, so don't so stop thinking about copying, sitting at home and all that is just not possible. Okay, now CB will have different versions, as in no two students are going to have the same paper, right? Why am I saying this? तू सुबह एग्जाम दे देना, फिर मुझे बता देना क्या आया पेपर में, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है यहाँ पे, right? Every person gets a different paper altogether. You will see that somebody who took an exam today will tell you there were too many questions on budgeting. The person who gave the paper next day will say budgeting से तो कुछ आया ही नहीं, right? So don't even bother going over there asking people तेरे पेपर में क्या है. There is no correlation whatsoever. Everybody's paper is entirely different. Yeah. Now, when you talk about the format, ये करूँ क्या मैं PPT मोड? मुझे ऐसे दिखता है, तुमको बराबर दिखता है? ठीक है. So when it comes to the question format, what type of questions can get asked? You can have MCQs, multiple choice questions, that everybody knows ना. Question होता है, 4 option होता है, you have to select 1 correct or 2 correct out of it. MTQs, I already told you, a task will be given. Based on the task, you will have a couple of questions coming out, right? You can also have fill in the blanks. They'll give you a blank, you'll have to put in the correct answer. You can also have match the correct answers. School mein hota tha na, match the following. Yeah, so something like that. You will also have match the correct answer. So these are the 4 types of questions that you're going to see in the paper. Knowledge of Excel is required. Okay, for 2 reasons. One is that ACCA as an exam completely is computer based, right? So we are going to solve all questions in Excel only. All questions are going to be solved in Excel only. The reason being that is the moment you move to skill level, you don't have a choice. You will have to do even your rough work in Excel. So you have to start getting used to doing all your calculations in Excel, right? Second reason, there is a chapter called spreadsheets in our syllabus, which teaches you Excel. It's very, very basic, but वो chapter के base भी questions exam में आते हैं. तो एक snippet होगा Excel का, वहाँ पे तुमको formula डालने बोल सकते हैं, or any kind of other question can come. So that's another reason why knowledge of Excel is required. Okay, those who are not used to Excel, it's absolutely fine. You start from now. By the time you reach your skill level, I think you'll become proficient in Excel. And we are not doing any complicated algorithms and stuff over here. Very simple, basic knowledge of Excel. Is that okay? Okay. Now, how does our lesson plan go? Couple of things for you to remember before we actually start with the classes and all. First thing is being comfortable in the class. Okay, both physically, mentally. Physically in the sense those who come offline, if you want the fan, don't want the fan, you want the AC, you want etc. etc. Just make sure you're comfortable, and that way a nice person, I accommodate as many requests as possible. If it's beyond me, then I'm going to tell you on your face it's not possible for me. Yeah, those who are at home, I will very highly recommend don't sleep in your bed and take the class. Yeah, I have kids and I've seen them taking online classes. All those images are there, how my kids used to attend their online classes. So please, because we will do a lot of solving, you need your Excel open, you need your textbook with you. So please sit upright properly in a proper space if you're attending online from home. Yeah. As far as books are concerned, we are going to be using the Kaplan textbook and we're going to be solving questions from the Kaplan exam kit parallelly. So typically we do one chapter, exam kit, one chapter, exam kit, and that is how we progress throughout the syllabus. Some of the questions we do in class and others are given as homework, right? So because it's physically impossible to do all questions in class, so we do a representative sample in class and some other questions are given for homework. We give you enough time to finish your homework and come, which I expect you all do and come. Because once your deadline is done, I ask you if you have any doubts in the homework question. If you solve it, then you will have doubts. If you have doubts, you ask and it becomes easier that way. Yeah. So that is generally what we do. There are going to be some chapters which I'm going to give for self-reading. Yeah, because as you saw the size of the textbook itself, it is humongous, the syllabus, right? And some of the chapters are like really, really basic ones, right? Or there are some chapters where there is just sheer too much amount of theory given in the class or given in the textbook, right? So those chapters I give you all for self-reading, right? But the rule again remains the same. I give you all for self-reading. I give you a specific number of days to self-read and come. And if after reading the chapter, you feel that it should be discussed in class or we should do it in class or you've not understood anything, be absolutely comfortable to come back and tell me. Because see, from my side, I have no issue reading theory in class. It is generally the students only who tell me, ma'am, don't read so much theory in class. Right? So it serves two purposes. One, we get done with the syllabus faster. And second is then you read theory at your own pace and come back to me if you have any doubts. Is that okay? Lovely. Now, we have a system of taking mocks. So mocks are taken after every part of the syllabus is done. So हमने देखा part A, B, C, D, E, F, 6 part थे. Once one part is done, we will be doing a mock on that part. Right? Generally, we try and give the mocks from the BPP exam kit. So those of you who are not familiar, ACCA has two famous publications. One is Kaplan, one is BPP. Kaplan is what you have in class or the soft copy that I've shared with you. The other famous publication is BPP, right? Now, typically they say that if you've solved the exam kits of both the publications, you're pretty much sorted with the subject. So one exam kit we solve along with the class and one exam kit is given as mock. Yeah, MAK mocks are not like BPP, like BT, I'm sorry. They are not like BT. Because BT, I think Kaplan or PPP में बहुत फर्क लग रहा है ना textbook में. But MA, it's more or less the same. So you're not going to feel too much of a difference from there. Right? Baki part-wise mock, full mock, etc., all that. So I'll be telling you as and when we go with the class. Now, there is one point over here of additional MCQs from some other websites. Now, MA is definitely a subject where you need extra practice. Especially when we start going to parts D, E, and F, that is your budgeting, standard costing and all, you will yourself feel that you need more questions for practice. So at that time, I'll be giving you names of certain other websites. I'll give you now only. So I leave it to the students. If you think you need more practice, so wo websites ke jaake questions karo. But when it will come to the last three parts, I'm going to actually ask you all to submit your scores from those websites. So the first 2-3 parts is okay because they are easy. I leave it to you all. तुमको extra practice चाहिए कि नहीं? But last 3 part तो as a part of classwork, you all have to do it and submit it to me. Is that okay? So those website names and all I'll be sharing with you. Ticket course is going to take roughly 120 hours. ठीक है, लंबा कोर्स है ये. जिन्होंने बीटी और एफए किया है, प्लीज एमए को बीटी और एफए से कंपेयर मत कर. कोई कंपैरिजन है ही नहीं. राइट? बीटी और एफए दोनों मिला के जितना टाइम नहीं लगता है उतना टाइम एमए अकेले के लिए लग जाता है. दिस इज द लॉन्गेस्ट ड्यूरेशन सब्जेक्ट वी हैव. आई एम गोइंग टू गिव यू ऑल होमवर्क ऑन एन एवरीडे बेसिस. Yeah, again, I'm very tolerant for the first 3 classes. After that, if homework is not submitted, either don't come only to the class. Yeah, or then I remove you from the class. But there are some very smart people. The day I tell them today's homework submission deadline, that day only they are not well. Then they don't come. Then I forget. and so on and so forth. So to such student, I have only one thing to say. It is your money, your time, right? So if you think you are doing a favor by doing the homework and submitting, you're doing a favor on me, you're absolutely mistaken. You're doing a favor to yourself only by doing the homework and being regular, right? I'm just trying to help you with trying to be little strict over here and checking your homework so that तुमको कुछ तो डर रहे कि आज homework हमें करना है, okay? So please, you all be particular about your own homework. We'll have a homework monitor every week to check the homework and so on and so forth. Because it's physically impossible for me to check homework, I tell you. है ना? कैसा मैं सबका homework रोज check करूँ? Because I'm not a school teacher anymore. No? So anyways, and knowledge level only I have to do all this. By the time you all come to skill and professional level, you yourself become very responsible and so on and so forth. So we'll have homework monitors. Right. Classes will be Monday to Saturday every day. We are having Saturday classes. Now, because I'll tell you what, MA otherwise खत्म ही नहीं होता है. Then students get tired and they're like ये कब खत्म होगा? तो जब तक जोश है तब तक हम लोग ज़्यादा क्लास करके syllabus जितना cover कर सके better रहेगा. Yeah, Monday to Saturday. As of now, timing is 12 to 2. I would want to shift it to 11:30 to 1:30. So all those who find it difficult 11:30 to 1:30, please message me. So then we'll see what can be done. So I want to see how many people are not able to make it 12 to 2. Anybody over here has a problem currently 12 to 2, 11:30 to 1:30?
अभी Friday तक.
तुम्हारा ये Friday तक है. कितने बजे है मैम?
11:30 को खत्म होता है. 9:30 को खत्म.
9:30 to 11:30. अच्छा. बस खाली ये Friday तक है. चलिए. Anybody else has a issue with 11:30, 1:30? Online जो है किसी को issue है 11:30, 1:30?
No, ma'am. 11:30. I have a class till 11:45.
You have a class till 11:45. How many days of the week?
Ma'am, every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
And it's online, your other class?
No, that is offline.
So you attend offline till 11:45.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. ठीक है. So anybody else?
No, ma'am.
Everybody else? Okay?
No, ma'am.
ठीक है. So I'll speak to my other batch, Ria. Then we'll work out for you. तो तुम्हारा 10 मिनट 15 मिनट इधर उधर होगा कुछ तो. Because मेरा other batch is not agreeing only for 10 to 12. They want a 9:30, 11:30. That's why the request. Otherwise, I have no problem 12 to 2 also. मुझे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है actually आधे घंटे से. पर उनका कुछ तो और class है and they've been requesting me. So let me talk to them again and then we'll work out via media. Yeah. So it's a matter of half an hour.
Yes.
Half an hour. ठीक है. But see, this is broadly the timing, but there are going to be days where what have I done? I can't share. Yeah, but there are going to be days where I would want you all to. There will be some change in the timing of the class. Why is this not showing me? Thank you, Viraj. Yeah, but there are some days where I will request for a change in timing. So please accommodate with me. फिर कभी meeting होता है, कभी क्या होता है, कभी somebody is coming to meet me, so on so forth. So a little bit change in timing. I'll try my best not to change the timings 90% of the times, but 10% of the times yes. So please adjust with me on those days. Yeah. And I will show you how every day's class gets recorded anyways. It gets saved on Teams, so you can go and access the recording whenever you want and so on so forth. तो अगर थोड़ा आगे पीछे हो भी जाता है तो little bit you can even watch the recording of the class. ठीक है. तो ये हो गया. ठीक है. Saturday का timing अलग रहेगा लेकिन Saturday we are going to be meeting little early because we start getting into the weekend mood and 12 to 2 becomes too much. You feel like half the weekend is gone sitting here only. So we'll do little early so that we are done earlier and you have more time to study. Not for anything else, but to study during the weekend. Yeah. Now, coming to pattern of studying, etc. Again, those who've done one paper of ACCA, I think they already by now have figured out how to study. But for those who are just starting their journey, remember it's a very different qualification, right? Different if you compare it to BCom, right? So here we are talking about a professional qualification. So first thing you all have to remember that you all are you are targeting or you are aiming a professional qualification here. You're going to be called chartered accountants after you are done studying ACCA, right? Whatever you're going to be studying in all these 13 papers throughout is something that you will have to apply when you start working, right? So here the concept of learning and going does not apply. So when you sit to study, your focus is not how much can I learn and remember. Your focus is how much have I understood. The concepts that we are doing in the class should be crystal clear, right? Having said that, we have at least 1000 concepts over here in MA to be clear about. But whatever it is, right? I mean, your focus while studying is, have I understood what am I doing? Because believe me, learning is not going to help you at all. There are no questions which are going to test your memory. Questions are going to test your application. This is a concept, this is a situation. Are you able to apply the concept to the situation? That is what they want to test you for. They don't want to test you for your memory. In fact, even the formulas are given as exam formulas. You don't have to even learn most of the formulas over here. They are available to you in the exam. So remember, when you are studying, focus is understanding, right? Don't leave anything ununderstood in your entire textbook. Yeah. So that is your pattern of studying. Application based, I already told you. Additional reading, technical articles and all, I'll guide you as and when we progress through the syllabus. Yeah. Last one is webinars on the subject. You know ACCA website? Huh? ACCA website mein, if you go to something called as study resources. Okay. When you come to under students, you have something called as study support resources. नहीं है? So I was saying this is the ACCA website. Under ACCA website, in the students tab, you have something called as study support resources. Huh? Okay. Problem है, escape करूँ क्या फिर से? Those who are online, you all are able to see the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have the study support resources. When you get into study support resources, it will ask you to select your qualification. Now you are in ACCA qualification. You are not in foundation level. Though we call it the foundation level exam, but you are doing the ACCA qualification. You come here, you will see management accounting. You click on management accounting and you have a lot of material over here. Right, you have some introduction ka video, then you have the examining team ka guidance, the syllabus, people who need maths and English support, language support. They can do these short courses which are available on the website. अगर तुम्हें लगता है तुम्हारा मैथ्स एक्सट्रीमली वीक है कि तुमको एडिशन मल्टीप्लिकेशन भी नहीं आता है, तो तुम जाके ये वीडियो देख सकते हो. इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज में तुमको अगर स्ट्रगल हो रहा है तो अगेन यू कैन गो एंड watch this video. You have a lot of practice tests, specimen exam, technical articles, exam formulas, FAQs, and here goes the pass rates. Here goes the pass rates from the last few attempts that have happened. हाँ, कम होते जा रहा है. हाँ, क्योंकि बच्चे आजकल कम पढ़ रहे हैं ना. Post COVID students are studying also less. CA से बहुत अच्छा है. Yes. So if you look at the brighter side of life, this is much better than CA. Plus, you don't have to clear all your knowledge levels together also. So nobody's going to look at your average marks of the 3 knowledge level or 4 knowledge levels. Individually, you have to clear. Yeah, Viraj, thank you. So that brings in some brighter perspective over here. But of course, if you compare it to the pass rates of BT and FA, they are much higher. They go to 85% also. So MA has the lowest pass rate amongst the 3 knowledge level. Yeah. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, but somehow in the entire ACCA 13 subjects, all the bad subjects have come to me only. Not bad, all the low pass rate subjects have come to me only. Because I like costing, so I said I'll teach management accounting. I didn't know the pass rate is so bad. So anyways, whatever it is. So these are the pass rates that you have. Okay. So you can anytime go to this page and then they keep on posting news about some webinar happening, this happening, that happening. Keep a track of all that. And the more you do for yourself, better it is. What more can I say? Yeah. You know which topics you are struggling with. Yeah. We can always slot time, sit and solve doubts. I'm here to support you in whatever way you want. But you first have to figure out now where are you struggling really. And that is not possible till you regularly study. Yeah. So that was about your webinars and so on and so forth. Now, is there anything left in my PPT? Are you able to see me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I must have got stuck in some odd face on your screen. Anyway. Okay. So anyways, I'm left with very little bit of the PPT. The last 2 points I wanted to talk about is a WhatsApp group that I've made for our batch. Okay. So as I always tell all my students, it's not a good morning, good night group over here where I post messages, good morning and good night and so on and so forth. Whatever communication is there on the group is for the interest of the class, either in terms of what's the homework or if there is a change in the timing or if there is some important announcement that I have to make. And I expect you all to respond. Okay, if you don't respond to the group, I remove you from the group. Because then what's the point of being on the group if you don't respond? Yeah, so might as well you figure out it yourself only. Yeah. So if I put up some messages, if there is a request in change in timing or anything else for that matter, please be prompt and respond to all the messages on the group. Is that okay? Lovely. So that was in terms of
Yes,
all
ma'am.
the information I had, the basic information about the class. Does anybody have any questions? Before we start?
No, ma'am.
No? Are we good? What about you all? Any questions so far? Nothing at all? Super. Okay. So another thing I have to do before we directly jump on to the syllabus is that, as I told you, I need some basic information about you all because a lot of you all are studying with me for the first time and I don't have a background about who's coming from where. Okay, so I have a small sheet here which I want to quickly fill in. Yeah, so this is alphabetically. Don't feel bad if your name is in the last. Huh? So Aryan, tell me which year of college are you in?
Ma'am, I am in second year BCom.
You are in second year. Okay. And is your ACCA registration done?
Not yet received.
You've not started the
I
process. Okay.
submitted my all documents.
Okay. You submitted all the documents. So that's one more thing everybody has to remember. Huh? If your registration is not done, you know who's your counselor. Huh? So counselor ke piche pad jao and make sure that your registration is done as soon as possible. Okay? Yeah. Advait, I know you. Okay, but still tell me which year of college are you?
First year.
अच्छा, छोटे हो तुम. Arman?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Arman. Which year of college are you?
Ma'am, I completed my graduation in BBA.
Okay, you are a BBA. Okay, lovely. ठीक है. Aisha,
Ma'am, I'm in 12th.
you are in 12. जो आया ही नहीं है. जो कौन से ईयर में? जो फर्स्ट ईयर में था. हाँ, 12th के बोर्ड नहीं है आयशा तुम्हारे?
Ma'am, it's going on.
भगवान, कब खत्म हो रहा है?
Ma'am, 13th March.
13th में. ठीक है, you are there almost.
Yes, ma'am.
All the best, huh?
Thank you, ma'am.
Mariam, you just gave your 11th final, no?
Ma'am, I will be giving it at the end of March.
Okay, you are the baby of the class. Matthew is also first year. Meghna, you are also first year. Lovely. Nikunj is second year. Okay, Priyanshi, second year. Riya, so there are 2 Riyas in the class. So Riya Kamble, you are first year. So, okay, Riya Kamble is first year. Siddharth is again 11. Viraj, second year. Viraj is second year. Yash, you are 11th, no?
Ma'am, in 11th standard. Yes.
There are few babies in the class. Riya, you are also 11th, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Vaishnavi? First. Okay, amazing. So this is how our class looks like. Yeah, it goes without saying कि जो लोग 11th standard में है उनको थोड़ी और मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. तो तुम लोग 11th में हो तो तुमको आदत है मेहनत करने की, नहीं? क्योंकि अभी तो तुम्हारा 12th भी बाकी है. You still have to do a lot of hard work. Okay. Now those who are in 11th and not done their MA1, if you all are not coming through the foundation route and you've not done your MA1, please contact me after the class, because I would want you all to go through the MA1 recordings if you directly coming to MA. Yeah, so I think yes, खाली तुम ही बच जाते हो ऐसा. So I'll call you after the class gets done, because you need a little bit introduction to MA. It will become easier for you. The MA journey will be easier for you if you little bit go through the introduction of MA1.
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है, lovely. So registration, I already told you, please start chasing up your counselors and get your registration done as soon as possible. Yeah, lovely. ठीक है. So if there are no questions, can we start with the first chapter? Yeah. Super. Okay. So we start with the syllabus today only, because as I told you, we have lot to conquer. So I really have no time for meet and greet and so on and so forth. So we'll start with the first chapter today itself. Now, this is your textbook. Now, those who have the physical textbook in their hand must have already seen the weight of the textbook. Yeah. Those who not, I'm just telling you that we are looking at a good 650 pages textbook over here. So it's interesting. Yeah. Only thing you have to keep your patience throughout the syllabus so that we conquer in time. Now, I personally love management accounting. It's my absolute favorite. I love costing, right? Sometimes I feel instead of a chartered accountant, I should have become a cost accountant. But thankfully, I did not do that, because in my days, cost accountant mein kuch scope hi nahi tha. But things have changed a lot. Things have changed a lot nowadays. The role of a management accountant is increasingly becoming important in an organization. When we do the first chapter, that time you will realize what exactly does a management accountant do. Yeah, the role of a management accountant is very different from a financial accountant. So role समझेंगे, and after that, remember, management accounting as a career is being ranked even above your lot of accountancy courses or even your chartered accountancy for that matter. So such is the demand for management accountants today. You have specialized courses for management accounting. So you can become a certified management accountant from the US. You can do the SEMA, that is, you can become a member of the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants of either India or UK or so on and so forth. So these are all proper professional courses focusing on management accounting itself. Yeah, so the demand has been such that the kind of pays the CMAs have been getting nowadays are quite good. Yeah, so think about it as your second qualification. Yeah, most of the times people drop that plan after they finish studying MA because they're like, ye padna padega to fir. But it's interesting if you get over this whole mental whatever. So this is how your index looks like. We are going to have all these chapters. Now we are not going to necessarily do the chapters in the order it is given in the textbook, because we are going to take the chapters as per parts. So we're going to do part A first, then part B, then part C, and so on and so forth. So there might be a little reshuffling of the chapters. Those of you who are doing the first ACCA subject, I would recommend that read all this little bit. Yeah, just spend some time in reading this. Nothing very different from what I've told you, but yeah, a little bit more idea about how your course is progressing, what is the syllabus objective, what is the pattern of the paper. They give you a little bit more detail. They talk in detail about how you should prepare for the subject and so on so forth. Yeah, तो जिनका पहला पेपर है उन्होंने ये सब थोड़ा बहुत read करना चाहिए. Yeah, so with this now we come to the first chapter here, which is accounting for management. As I told you, this chapter is going to give you a little bit background about what is the nature and purpose of management accounting, what is the role of a management accountant, and so on. Yeah. So the pattern we follow in classes, we read the chapter in the class. So I nominate one person amongst you all only to read the chapter. Another rule is whoever reads the chapter puts up the homework on the group. Okay. So let's say today we'll start with Priyanshi because all of them are new here. So if Priyanshi reads in the class today, she has to put up the homework on the group once the class is done. Yeah, that is how we assign the roles. Chalo. So we are starting with accounting for management, and the very first topic we have is nature of good information. Yeah.
Nature of good information, data and information. Data means facts. Data consists of numbers, letters, symbols, raw facts, events, and transactions which have been recorded but not yet processed in a form suitable for use. Information is data which has been processed in such a way that it is meaningful to the person who receives it for making decisions. The terms data and information are often used interchangeably in everyday language. As data is converted into information, some of the detail of the data is eliminated and replaced by summaries, which are easier to understand.
Yeah, so I think ये तुमको बचपन में ही सिखा दिया था. Data क्या होता है? It is just a collection of certain things. It can be numbers, letters, symbols, raw facts, and so on and so forth. Once all this is put together in a meaningful form, what comes out of it is information. Okay, so that's the basic difference between data and information. So, can we do TYU1?
TYU1. What if any is the difference between data and information? A, they are the same. B, data can only be figures, whereas information can be facts or figures. C, information results from sorting and analyzing data. D, data results from obtaining many individual pieces of information.
Tell me, which is the correct answer here? What according to you is the difference between data and information?
Ma'am, C, information results from sorting and analyzing data.
Okay. Anybody else? So agree with C? Everybody agree with C? Yeah? Yes. The correct answer is C, naturally, because they are definitely not the same. If you look at option A, they are definitely not the same. B is data can only be figures, whereas information can be facts or figures. ऐसा किसी ने नहीं बोला है. Data can be anything. Information also can be anything. If you look at the D option, data results from obtaining many individual pieces of information. No. Data is not derived from information. Information is derived from data. Now, I hope you all paid attention to how we did this TYU, because this is how you need to do your homework. right? MCQs typically are very confusing, right? Now, what happens most of the times is 4 options are given in front of you. Students have this tendency to jumping on to the right answer immediately. Take your time. Remember, every question is going to cost you 2 marks. Take your time, think through properly, evaluate why other options are not correct, and then select the correct option. Right? Similarly, if let's say you selected B, you go and see the answer behind is C. Don't just blindly accept that C is the correct answer. Try and understand why is C the correct answer. If you follow that pattern, you become more thorough with the syllabus. Yeah. So it's not about just picking and coming out. It is about understanding what are you choosing. Yeah. So let's continue.
Attributes of good information. Information is provided to management to assist them with planning, controlling operations, and making decisions. Management decisions are improved when they are provided with better quality information. The attributes of good information can be identified by the accurate acronym as shown below. A. Accurate. The degree of accuracy depends on the reason why the information is needed. For example, a report of the performance of different divisions of a business may show figures to the nearest dollar or nearest $1,000. When calculating the cost of a unit of output, managers may want the cost to be accurate to the nearest cent. C. Complete. Managers should be given all the information they need, but information should not be excessive. For example, a complete control report on variances should include all standard and actual costs necessary to gain understanding of the variance calculations. Production managers will need the variance analysis related to material usage, whereas purchasing managers will need the variance analysis related to material prices. C. Cost effective. The value of information should not exceed the cost of producing it. Management information is valuable because it assists decision making. But decision backed by information is different from what it would have been without the information. The value of information equates to the amount of money saved as a result.
Yeah. Let's understand these terms first. You know the acronym accurate? I think ये भी कहीं तो भी school में या 11th 12th में किया रहेगा. But anyways, accurate. The A stands for accurate. Of course, the information that the management accountant is producing should be accurate. Yeah, but you cannot become obsessed with accuracy. You cannot become obsessed with accuracy. Sometimes the management just needs an overall idea about what's happening. So at that time, even if you manage to give a rough idea about what's happening, it's fine. Right? They've given a very good example, but let's say if the management has asked you to calculate a cost per unit. कि हम लोग tables बनाते हैं तो एक table बनाने का cost कितना है? At that time you cannot tell him हाँ roughly. At that time you have to be accurate. So accuracy, you have to understand where to be 100% accurate and where to be just above accuracy is enough. Similarly with completeness of information. Again, you cannot be obsessed with any of the acronyms. You have to take a judgment call. कि कहाँ पे complete होना जरूरी है, कहाँ पे little bit is all right. Yeah. Last comes cost effective, and that we all know. Value of information should exceed the cost of producing it. Remember, every information comes at a cost, especially in corporates. How much are you ready to spend is the question. How much are you ready to spend? How much will you be ready to spend? You should be able to spend only that much which equates to at least the benefit coming from the information. उससे ज़्यादा तो नहीं spend करना चाहिए. Right? So we always want to be cost effective when it comes to information. That is another rule that we follow. Yeah. Let's look at illustration 1.
Illustration 1. Marginal cost versus marginal benefit. Production costs in a factory can be reported with varying levels of frequency ranging from daily 365 times per year to annually once per year. Costs and benefits of reporting relate to the frequency of reporting. Information has to be gathered, collated, and reported in proportion to frequency, and costs will move in line with this. Initially, benefits increase sharply, but this increase starts to tail off point may come where information overload sets in and benefits actually start to decline and even becomes negative. If managers are overwhelmed with information, this can actually get in the way of completing a job.
Yes, ये हम सबको मालूम है actually, right? Compare the situation to when COVID started. Yeah, every information about COVID was so important for us initially. Yeah, we were glued to our TVs. Any new information and the amount of value you were placing on that information was so high. What should you do? तुमको COVID हो गया तो क्या करना चाहिए? How to prevent it? हाथ धोना चाहिए, sanitizer, etc. etc. After some time, there was so much information that we all reached a stage of information overload. Now there was no value to the information that we were getting. Why? Because we were so done with it. We already knew what we wanted to know. We didn't want to know more. Yeah. So that is the balance that every management accountant has to strike. You need the right amount of information, but you don't want to reach a stage of information overload. Is that okay? Yeah. So they put down a very fancy graph. They put down graphs at random of places. So I don't know showing what. But this is a graph where they are talking about the information overload kind of situation. Yeah. On the x-axis, we have number of reports. Yeah. On the y-axis, we are talking about how much money you are spending to get those reports. Yeah. The solid blue line over here is the cost. ये वाली जो line है वो क्या है? Cost. जितना reports बढ़ेगा उतना cost तो बढ़ते ही जाएगा. You have to spend for every other report that you are producing. But what is happening to benefit? Initially, as the reports come in, benefit is very high. You reach a point where you are like, I am done. This much information is enough for me. And after that, the value of the report starts falling down. Here is where you are getting optimum information. Now, when you are going downwards, you have reached information overload stage. You don't value that information anymore. Is that okay? Right. So let's continue with the remaining acronyms.
Understandable. Use of technical language or jargon must be limited. Accountants must always be careful about the way in which they present financial information to non-financial managers. Relevant. The information contained within a report should be relevant to its purpose. Redundant parts should be removed. For example, the sales team may need to know the total cost of producing a unit to calculate the selling price, but will not need to know the breakdown into material, labor, and overhead costs. Authoritative. Information should be trusted and provided from reliable sources so that the users can have confidence in their decision making. Timely. Information should be provided to a manager in time for decisions to be made based on the information. Easy to use. We must always think that about the person using the information we provide and make sure the information meets their needs.
So I think all of them are easily understood. Understandable तो होना ही चाहिए. बहुत ज़्यादा technical होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Because you have to remember, not everybody comes from a financial background. People from non-financial background might not understand your report. It should be relevant. Yeah, I should be interested in what I'm reading. Authoritative, of course. Because if the report or the information is not coming from a reliable source, that information is of no use. Yeah. Next one is timely. Yes, if decision has to be taken by this month end, you cannot give the report the next month. That information is of no use. Because decision लेने का time निकल चुका है. And easy to use, of course. Again, you cannot have a wall of words. What we call typical reports, they look like wall of words. Means what? You just have paragraphs and paragraphs of something written. Who wants to read such a report? Right? If you make it little pictorial, you have graphs, you have other kind of pictorial depiction of what you're trying to say, it becomes easier to understand and use. Is that okay? Everybody's okay with the acronym here? Yeah? इतना जरूरत नहीं था मेरे को पढ़ाने की, but ठीक है, मुझे लगा अभी first day तो I teach you. Otherwise, everybody's done this acronym, no? Some point in life. No? नहीं किया. Econ में तो नहीं किया. ये नहीं किया. BT जो करके आया उसको तो ये सब कंप्लीट रहेगा. ठीक है. Now we are moving one step further. Data देख लिया, information देख लिया. How do you get knowledge from it, and how do you become wise after that knowledge? Yeah, the perennial question of our life. Yeah, knowledge is not equal to wisdom.
Data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. The arrival of the internet has made it much easier for organization and individual to access data at the right time and the right place. However, at the same time, the internet has opened up questions about data being error-free and about who can have access to it. As well as the issue of data quality, there is the question of how data, information, and knowledge relate to one another. Russell Acca was one of the first people to speak of there being a hierarchy which he referred to as data, information, knowledge, wisdom, DIKW hierarchy. According to this model, data are simple facts or figures, or maybe even a photograph or an illustration. In this form, data is unstructured and uninterrupted. Information comes from processing or structuring data in a meaningful way. Another way of looking at this is that information is interpreted data. An interesting story is told by Joan Margareta in her book What Management Is, about Steve Jobs, which clearly illustrates the difference between data and information. Despite its small share of total market for personal computers, Apple has long been a leader in sales to schools and universities. When CEO Steve Jobs learned that Apple's share of computer sales to schools was 12.5% in 1999, he was dismayed. But unless you are an industry analyst who knows the numbers hold, you won't appreciate just how dismayed he was. That's because in 1998, Apple was the segment leader with a market share of 14.6%. And when Apple slipped to the number 2 spot in 1999, Dell grew and took the lead with 15.1%. Alone, each number is meaningless. Together, they spell trouble. If you're Steve Jobs, you see a trend that you better figure out how to rate it. This isn't number crunching, it's sense making.
Yes.
Data,
Yeah.
2003 or 1
whatever, page 123 in the book. So now, yeah. So one thing is, of course, there are certain names of people that you're going to come across, some authors, because management accounting involves a lot of models also. The model is always authored by some other person. So हो सके तो authors के नाम याद रखो. Yeah. So I feel the best way of doing it is have a separately. I'll ask you to make a lot of notes of yourself, your own notes, basically, because the syllabus is so vast. सब book में से तो नहीं हो सकता. So certain things अगर तुम parallelly अपने notes बनाते रहो तो तुम्हारे लिए later on revision के लिए easy हो जाता है. So one set of notes that you can prepare is the name of models and authors. Right? So today, if you've done this chapter, if you just quickly write down Russell Acca, what did he do? DIKW. What was his model? DIKW. DIKW क्या था? Data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. So he tried to make an interconnection between all this. He tried to do an interconnection between all this, and they've given you a very beautiful example. Yeah. Apple के CEO ने किसी ने तो आके बोला कि तुम्हारा computer sales 12.5% है. You wouldn't know how to react to such information. If somebody came and told you or me, we wouldn't know 12.5% मतलब क्या. But if somebody tells you कि 14% से 12.5 हो गया है, now you know it's not good news. Right? That's the difference between data and information. Then how you convert it into knowledge and how you become wise out of it is something that is up to you. Is that okay? No. So they've done a little bit more analysis on this.
In this example, the 12.5% was data, and when it was seen in conjunction with the 15.1%, it became information. Knowledge is again different to data and information. Knowledge is much more personal, and the presence or absence of knowledge can only be seen through the actions of individuals. When knowledge is written down, it effectively becomes information. Finally, with respect to wisdom, it is difficult to define this concept. Wisdom has something to do with understanding or insight. It is to do with achieving a good long-term outcome in relation to the circumstances you are in.
Yes. ठीक है. So data information तो clear हो गया. Knowledge क्या है? Knowledge is much more personal. Knowledge is much more personal. In the sense, what knowledge I got from a particular piece of information is very personal to me. You might get some different insight. I might have got some different insight. Right? The knowledge is very personal, and wisdom, of course, we all know it is something to do with understanding or insight. अभी तुम इतना सब डेटा इंफॉर्मेशन नॉलेज से वाइज होते हो कि नहीं, that's a completely different ballgame. क्या मतलब एक बार नहीं पढ़ाई करके अगर तुम फेल हो जाओ, तुम्हारे पास अभी डेटा भी है, इंफॉर्मेशन भी है, नॉलेज भी आ गई है, कि नहीं पढ़ने से फेल होते हो, वाइज हुए हो कि नहीं, नेक्स्ट टाइम अच्छे से पढ़ना है, that will just be basically. Yeah, I can tell you right now, if you don't study, you're not. Think of PIKW over here. You have to study to pass. Huh? That is the universal wisdom. Okay, चलो. The next part is mission statement, but before that, we're going to take a break. Yeah. Typically in a 2-hour class, I take 5 minutes break after the first 1 hour is done. Yeah, just to drink water. But people who are online, don't go here and there on very long breaks. Huh? It's just a 5-minute break. It's not that you can go and on your speaker. So it's 1:06 and see you exactly at 1:11 in 5 minutes. Yeah, and then we'll continue with the chapter. Yes, so I'll see you in 5 minutes. When we start getting into more complicated topics, no, automatically break time will help. Because then 5 minutes break will not help anybody, not even me. And I'll only give you 10 minutes break. So that was very heavy. Okay, is everybody back?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, so let's continue with the chapter. We have something very interesting over here, which is known as the mission statement. Now, before we actually just start reading about mission statement, I want to give you a background about why are we studying mission statements. Yeah. Now, what are mission statements? First of all, you know that when any company is founded, the founder of the company has a vision. कि मैं company क्यों establish कर रहा हूँ? What is it that I want to achieve in the next 20 years? Or why am I founding the company in the first? That becomes the company's vision, right? Then comes something like a mission. Vision is one level below the vision, and a mission is the objective of the company, right? Vision is very, very long term. कि चलो 30 years बाद where do I want to be, right? Mission is a little short term, but still it is your long term goal of what do you want to achieve with your company. Mission gets broken down into a goal. Goal gets broken down into objective. Objective gets broken down into KPI, CSF, and a CSF gets broken down into KPI. So there are so many levels that we are going to study later. Yeah. But the starting point is vision जो होता है वो तो इतना long term होता है that we don't even want to discuss. So for us the starting point is mission. Now coming back to as a management accountant, why do you need to know the mission of the company? Okay. Now here is where financial accounting and management accounting are very different. In financial accounting, the accountant or the employee knows what he's doing. उसको सब transactions record करना है, उसको bookkeeping करना है, उसको trial balance निकालना है, उसको final accounts बनाना है, balance sheet, profit and loss, cash flow बन गया. That is the aim of a financial accountant. That's the role of a financial accountant. What is the role of a management accountant? To help the company or help the management achieve its objectives. Management accountant helps a management to achieve its objectives. So if as a management accountant, you don't know only what is company's objective, how will you help your management achieve it? Yeah. So management accountant के लिए there is no rule, there is no law, there is no compulsion, there are no accounting standards, there is nothing. A management accountant will do whatever the management will ask him or her to do. Right? And why will we do it? Because we want to achieve the mission of the company. Yeah, that is why we always study mission statements. अभी तुम्हारे MA level तक शायद mission statement का इतना काम नहीं है, but when you go to APM, that is the last level, the first thing a question will tell you is what is the company's mission? And then your answer depends upon what is the company's mission. Yeah. Anyways, so यहाँ पे जितना है उतना पढ़ लेते हैं about mission statements. Let's continue.
Mission statement. For any planning can take place, the mission of the business needs to be established. The mission statement is a statement in writing that describes the overall aims of an organization. That is, what it is trying to accomplish. In other words, it sets out the whole purpose of the business. There are 4 key elements to a mission statement. Purpose. Why does the business exist and who does it exist for? Strategy. What does the business provide and how is it provided? Policies and culture. How does the business expect its staff to act or behave? Values. What are the 4 principles of the business? The mission to express what the business wants to achieve overall and the aims and objectives managers produce should all work towards achieving this. Mission statements will have some or all of the following characteristics. Usually a brief statement of no more than a page in length. Very general statement of entity culture. States the aims of the organization. states the business areas in which organization intends to operate. Open-ended, not in qualifiable terms, does not include commercial terms such as profit, not time assignment. Forms a basis of communication to the people inside the organization and the people outside the organization. Used to formulate goal statements, objectives, and short-term targets. Guides the direction of the entity strategy and as such is a part of management information.
First thing you should know first of all the definition of a mission statement. What is a mission statement? It is a statement in writing. मतलब it is not कि founder ने बोला आज ये mission है और परसों बोल दिया हमारा कुछ अलग mission है. एक बार mission decide हो जाता है, it is recorded in writing and it is basically something which describes the overall aim of the organization. Yeah, first thing to remember is that. Second is mission के key elements क्या है. In the sense, जब भी अगर तुम कंपनी कल फाउंड करोगे और तुम अपनी कंपनी का मिशन स्टेटमेंट लिखने जाओगे तो याद रखना है योर मिशन स्टेटमेंट शुड हैव ऑल दीज फोर थिंग्स. इट शुड हैव अ पर्पस, राइट? इट शुड आल्सो हैव अ स्ट्रेटजी. या in the sense you cannot just say that I will take people to the moon, that is my mission. You also need to have a strategy. How are you planning to take people to the moon? कि तुम ऐसा वेग मिशन बनाओगे तो तुम्हारे कंपनी में कोई काम करने को नहीं आने. या फिर भी इलॉन मस्क के पास लोग जाते हैं. Whatever, that's a separate thing. Yeah, your mission statement also talks about the policies and cultures of your business. How do you want to achieve your mission? Yeah, and the last is values. What are the core principles of the business? So बहुत it sounds very abstract, but actually as a founder of the company you have to quantify all this and put it in writing. कि मेरा objective क्या है, मैं कैसे achieve करूँगा, and what is the culture or values I will follow while achieving. Yeah, now you won't believe, but some companies are very cutthroat. They are like, our objective is to make profit and we want to make profit at any cost. Right? They don't mind using substandard material. They don't mind going low quality. They don't mind giving their workers not good conditions to work in. Why? Because they are very cutthroat. Their objective is to make money. If you are going to achieve your objective like this talks about your culture and values. But if you say that no, my objective is to make money by providing the best quality XYZ to people, that talks about your values. That no, I am not compromising on the quality. Yeah, so it speaks a lot about the company, but as I said, अभी इतना लोड लेने की तुमको जरूरत नहीं है. ये चार चीजें याद रखो, उसका definition याद रखो. ये याद रहा तो ठीक है, otherwise it's okay. They're just trying to tell you that mission is very broad, right? Now this is something that you can read on your own. These are mission statements of certain companies. They first started with Kaplan ka mission statement. Yeah, and sometimes when you read the mission statements, you can't make out ये कंपनी करना क्या चाहती है. For example, look at Microsoft. To empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. What are they doing? You can't even make out what the company is trying to do. Yeah, it is very, very big. Yeah, similarly, Cadbury. फिर हम बोलेंगे Cadbury का mission होगा to make the best chocolates in the world. So look at that. Cadbury means quality. This is our promise. Our reputation is built upon quality. Our commitment to continuous improvement will ensure that our promise is delivered. Who will say कि chocolate बनाते? Right? So anyway, that's why I'm saying don't pay attention to the mission statement as of now too much. So APM में जाएंगे तो we'll deep dive into the mission and break it down and so on. As of now, remember, company has a mission. Yeah, we are going to break it down a lot. Now we come to a very mundane process which every subject has. Whichever subject of ACCA you're going to pick up, it is going to have something to do with planning, decision making, and control. Can you tell me why? Why do we always study planning, decision making, and control? Have you studied this before, first of all? Not really. Analysis. You have studied? You must have studied. You also must. What about the others? Have you studied planning, decision making, and control before?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
We are studying now.
Studying now. Okay. Anyways, some point in your life when you're doing your BCom, undergrad, whatever, you are going to come across this whole drill of planning, decision making, and control. And the reason why we go through the drill is that these are considered to be the three primary functions of any management across the world. No matter what's your mission, no matter what's your vision, no matter what kind of company you are, the management is forever doing these three tasks of first planning, then taking decisions, and then trying to control the decisions you have taken. It's a repetitive cycle that you will keep on doing. Yeah. So let's read about this managerial process. हाँ, प्लानिंग में क्या आता है, डिसीजन मेकिंग में क्या आता है, कंट्रोल में क्या?
The managerial process of planning, decision making, and control. The main functions that management are involved with are planning, decision making, and control. Plan. Set objectives for achievement. Identify way in which objectives can be achieved. Make a decision as to how objectives can be achieved based on information provided. Decision making. Implement decision. Control. Gather information about actual results achieved. Compare actual results and expected results. Evaluate outcomes. Revise original objectives if necessary.
Just give a broad thought to this. Planning में हम क्या कर रहे हैं? अपना objective set कर रहे हैं. We are thinking or we are planning how we are going to achieve those objectives, and then you are taking a decision on how those objectives can be achieved. So planning is all about मेरे objectives क्या है and how am I going to achieve the objectives. Decision making में what do? To achieve one objective, you will always have 3-4 ways of doing it. Yeah, you are going to take a decision. Which way are we choosing? Which way are we choosing? And in the last step, I have taken a decision. Now I want to see whether my decision has been right or wrong. Am I achieving the objective based on my decision or no? Yeah. So this is a 3-step approach which you are going to study in every subject going forward. Now we're going to go into a little bit details of the 3. Yeah, let's continue.
Planning involves establishing the objectives of an organization and formulating relevant strategies that can be used to achieve those objectives. In order to make plans, it helps to know what has happened in the past so that decisions about what is achievable in the future can be made. For example, if a manager is planning future sales volumes, he or she needs to know what the sales volumes have been in the past. Planning can be either short-term, tactical planning, or long-term strategic planning. Planning is looked at in more detail in the next section of this chart.
बहुत planning करने वाले हैं.
During the planning process, the mission statement of a business is used to produce effective aims and objectives for employees and the company as well. Aims and objectives should be smart. Smart as specific. Are the objectives well defined and understandable? Measurable. Can achievement of the objectives be measured so that completion can be confirmed? Attainable, achievable. Can the objectives be achieved, said to be achieved with the sources and skills available? Relevant. Are the objectives relevant for the people involved and the mission of the business? Time. Are deadlines being set for the objectives that are achievable? Are there any stages in reviews planned to monitor progress towards the objective? By following the SMART hierarchy, a business should be able to produce plans that lead to goal congruence throughout the departments, centers, and regional offices, the whole business.
Yes, so planning में तो एक ही चीज याद रखनी है. एक तो planning बहुत टाइप की होती है. We are going to study all this in detail in the later chapter. But remember, in planning, basically we are focusing on our objective, right? And before you start planning for your objective should be smart. Are you getting what I'm saying? Before you decide how to reach the destination, you should cross-check that is your destination achievable also or no. Destination should be smart. And what is smart? Smart matlab specific. Exactly what is it that you want? Yeah, vague statements नहीं होने चाहिए. जैसे मैंने तुमको बोला, we want to reach the moon. It's too vague. Doesn't mean anything. Measurable. Objective measure करने को आना चाहिए. Otherwise, how do you know whether you achieved it or not? Yeah. You cannot have an objective that make everybody happy. How are you going to measure who's happy and who's not? Yeah, so it has to be very, very measurable, attainable, of course. No point in working towards something which is never going to be achieved. Should be relevant. Relevant to whom? Relevant to the mission of the business. Right? Remember, mission cannot be achieved in one day. Mission is going to be achieved in different objectives spread over a number of years. Each objective should be relevant to the mission. Are you getting the link over here? How about you all online? Are you all getting what I'm trying to say? I hope you all are not slept off.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. It should be timed. Time means what? Do you have specific deadline when an objective should be met? Yeah, something like an MA paper. Better to have an objective. Can become a 1 year plan also. You can do MA paper for 1 year also after I finish the batch. So they just keep on procrastinating. मैम थोड़ी और प्रिपरेशन कर दूं, मैम थोड़ा और एक बार रीड कर दूं, कुछ नहीं होने लगा एक बार अच्छा 2 बार अच्छे से रीड करो जाके पेपर yeah. Anyway, so it has to be timed. And if you follow the SMART technique, then most of the times your objectives are aligned to your mission. And you're going to achieve your mission very fast. In this case, it is becoming AP. Yeah. MA is just one objective from your total mission. Are we good? No. So let's move on to decision making.
Decision making. Decision making involves considering information that has been provided and making an informed decision. In most situations, decisions making involves making a choice between 2 or more alternatives. Managers need reliable information to compare the different courses of action available and understand what the consequences might be of choosing each of them. The first part of the decision-making process is plan. The second part is control. Control. Information relating to the actual results of an organization is reported to managers. Managers use the information relating to actual results to take control measures and to assess and amend their original budgets or plans. Internally sourced information produced largely for control purposes is called feedback. The feedback loop is demonstrated in the following illustration.
Yes. Now, plan decision making, I have already told you, choosing between various objectives, and control is basically taking the actual results and comparing to your original plans. कि तुमने जैसे सोचा था वैसा हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है तो भी feedback दो, because if you get a feedback that things are going as per plan, you are encouraged to continue the same path. And if you get a feedback that no, it is not going the way you want it to go, you might want to change it a bit. So feedback is actually the most important step. People can do all the planning and decision making of the world, but if they don't get feedback only, how do they know whether they are on the right track or no? Yeah, and it is not a one-time thing. There is something called as the feedback loop. हम इसको loop क्यों बोल रहे हैं? Because you see the arrows never end. There is input into the system and the system gives an output. Based on the output, you plan or you prepare a budget. You implement the budget. After that, you start controlling. Whatever feedback you give in your control step again goes as input into the system. Again, there is an output. Again, you plan. So this cycle never ends. That's why it's called a loop. Never ending. Right. Yeah. So let's finish this.
For example, illustration 2, the managerial process of planning or planning decision. Input, system, output, plan or budget, control. Here, management prepares a plan which is put into action by managers with control over the input resources, labor, money, materials, equipment, and so on. Output from operations is measured and reported. Feedback to management and actual results are compared against the plan and control reports. Managers take corrective actions where appropriate, especially in the case of exceptionally bad or good performance. Feedback can also be used to revise plans or prepare the plan for the next period.
As I told you, feedback is the most important. Are we okay, everybody, so far? Any doubts? Any question? Tell me, इसमें doubt नहीं आता है. In case there is anything, let me know. So, we are going to do this exercise now, where you have to complete the table and identify each function as whether it is planning, decision making, or is it control. Yeah. So I give you all 2 minutes. Mark your answers and keep. Then we will discuss. Chalo. Preparation of the annual budget for a cost center. What is it?
Planning.
Planning.
Planning. Okay. When you're preparing a budget, you are planning. You've not taken a decision as yet. You've not taken a decision as yet. मतलब yes, I understand what you're saying. कि budget finalize होने के पहले उस process में तुमने बहुत सारे decisions लिए होंगे. But when you are actually sitting and preparing the budget, the first step that you will do is plan. क्या होता है ना generally budget preparation में कभी भी एक budget नहीं बनता है.
But मैम बजट तरह से तो कुछ तो डिसीजंस लेंगे ना सर
Definitely.
एवरी डिपार्टमेंट.
Definitely. But the process of making the budget involves a lot of decisions, but preparation of the budget is a planning. Yeah, so this is plans. Revise the budget for next period for a cost center. Can I say control, but not everything. Tell me. If you are revising the budget, what are you doing? Which are you take? Are you still planning? Are you taking decisions?
Control.
Okay, control.
Ma'am, we are still planning.
Are we still planning? You are revising the budget.
No, ma'am, it's not planning. Ma'am, it's control.
Yes, you are controlling now. You are controlling. Yeah. So revising is going to be control. Actually, what Nikunj said is right. When you are preparing a budget, you are both planning and decision making. सबको decision making है. Everything is decision making.
और फिर जो actual answer है उसको
डिसीजन तो होता ही है.
हर एक प्रोसेस को डिसीजन होगा ऐसा. This is one more thing I should not do. Look at answers behind. पूरा होने को फिर चेक करो. तुम पहले आंसर्स पीछे देख लोगे तो the answer gets imprinted in your brain. Okay, so this is one very important thing. A good, I'm speaking about it now only. If you are very serious about passing the paper, stop looking at answers behind. When I give you questions for homework, answers are all there behind the exam. It's just a matter of flipping pages. All answers are there. Right? And it is no skill. पीछे देख के आंसर देख लेना कोई स्किल काम नहीं है. It's just a matter of couple of seconds. But the moment you see an answer, your understanding stops. You will never grasp a topic if you go and look at answers. और MA तो पास करना इम्पॉसिबल है अगर तुम्हें ये आदत लग गई कि बार बार जाके पीछे आंसर देखो. तुम अगर पीछे आंसर देख लोगे तुम खुद का दिमाग लगाना बंद कर दो. तो अभी तुम्हारे दिमाग में बैठ गया है कि ये सब में डिसीजन मेकिंग है. Where is your understanding or your thinking? This is a very small example. This topic also is not that important. But as we go further, if you are used to looking at answers behind, I'm telling you, the answer just gets stuck in your brain. Then you stop analyzing. Because you know now कि यही answer है. Yeah? So if you're serious about passing the paper, don't look at the answers. Yeah? I see, if you give me the right answer, I'll be like, oh, amazing, XYZ is so intelligent, giving me the right answer. But मुझे impress करके मुझे कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला. If I have a very high opinion about you, it doesn't help anywhere. I'm not going to refund your fees because you are intelligent. Yeah? Finally, you have to pass the exam. To impress the exam. Okay, so don't bother about impressing me. I automatically get impressed. I know who's studying how much. Just give me 1 week, I'll tell you who's studying. Yeah? So anyways, so that's one thing. Please don't look at answer again. Put the remarks about. Now, implement decisions based on information provided.
Decision making, ma'am.
Yes. This is of course is talking about implementing decisions. So it is 100% decision making. Set organization's objective for next period. It is primarily
Planning.
Yes, it is primarily
Planning.
planning. Yeah, setting objectives. Compare actual
Yes.
and expected results.
Controlling.
Controlling.
Absolutely. When you are comparing actual and expected results, you are comparing. Yeah. So broadly, you know what comes under planning, control, and decision. अभी रही बात जो आंसर पीछे दिया है, they are 100% right. No matter what stage you are in, decision making is a part of your everyday life. तुम planning कर रहे हो तभी भी तुम decision ले रहे हो. तुम control कर रहे हो तभी भी तुम decision ले रहे हो. Decision making is inevitable. Even if I'm planning whether to do A or B, I'm still taking a decision. Right? That's why decision making has been ticked for all the options. Decision making is omnipresent. Like God, present everywhere. Whether you do planning or you do control, you are always taking decisions. Are we okay? Yeah? Okay. चलो ठीक है हमने already highlighted to you. Very fun. Okay, ठीक चलो. Let's move on to what are the levels of planning. Planning को हम थोड़ा detail में लेके जा रहे हैं.
Levels of planning. There are 3 different levels of planning, known as planning horizons. These 3 levels differ according to their time span and the seniority of the manager responsible for the task involved. Strategic planning. Strategic planning can also be known as long-term planning or corporate planning. It considers the long term, 5 years plus, the whole organization. Senior managers formulate long-term objectives, goals, and plans, strategies for an organization as a whole. These objectives and plans should all be aiming to achieving the company's mission. Tactical planning. Tactical planning takes the strategic plan and breaks it down into manageable jobs, that is, shorter-term plans for individual areas of the business to enable the strategic plan to be achieved. Senior and middle managers make short to medium-term plan for the next year. Operational plan. Operational planning involves making day-to-day decisions about what to do next and how to deal with problems as they arise. All managers are involved in day-to-day decisions. Simple hierarchy of management tasks can be presented as follows. Day-to-day operational planning and control. Short-term tactical planning and control. Long-term strategic planning and control.
Yes. ये हमारा pyramid है. This pyramid again is very fundamental to management accounting because every concept of management accounting gets broken down at 3 levels. Every time we are going to look at what do the strategic people do. ये strategic people कौन होते हैं? These are the senior management of your company, board of directors, CFOs, CAOs, and so on so forth. वो लोग जब प्लानिंग करने बैठते हैं वो ये नहीं डिसाइड करते कि आज हम क्या करेंगे. दे प्लान की कंपनी नेक्स्ट 3 साल में क्या करेगी या कंपनी नेक्स्ट 5 साल में किधर जा रही है. So they are doing strategic planning, very top level planning, broad level planning. That broad plan is given to the tactical level. Tactical level में तुम्हारे senior managers रहते हैं. Okay, So the long-term goal of 5 years will probably be broken down into 1 year at a time. It will be broken down into 1 year. Tactical manager जो रहेगा, senior manager, वो अपने लिए aim बनाएगा कि इस year end तक मुझे क्या achieve करना है, right? Further tactical plan जो है, वो operational plan में break down, maybe a monthly plan. कभी तो उसके भी नीचे daily plan बनो कि आज कितना प्रोडक्शन करना है, आज मुझे अगर सेल्स टारगेट अचीव करना है तो कितना सेल करना है, एंड सो ऑन, राइट? सो वी आर ऑलवेज टॉकिंग अबाउट 3 levels depending upon the seniority of the banks. Are we okay with the 3 levels? Strategic, tactical and operational. ये नाम याद रखना. The 3 names and the 3 levels should be now in your blood. Cannot forget. Are we good? Lovely. Good. This is something that you can go through on your own actually. I don't really want to read all this. उन्होंने क्या किया है यहाँ पे, एक प्राइवेट स्कूल और एक प्रॉफिट सीकिंग बिजनेस को कंपेयर किया. Yeah, school when you take typically, we don't say that the school is a profit making organization. Yeah, of course, nowadays it's all a business and it's all very commercial. That's a different thing. But typically when we talk about schools, we don't say they have been established with an intention to make profit. They have been established with an objective to provide education. So they are not profit making. Generally, they take fees only so that they can meet their expenses. Huh? But life is different nowadays. Right now, remember, private school मतलब एक अच्छी स्कूल जो खाली फीस खर्चे निकालने के लिए ले रही है, और एक प्रॉफिट सीकिंग बिजनेस. हाउ दोनों का मिशन अलग होगा, स्ट्रेटेजिक प्लान अलग होगा, टैक्टिकल प्लान अलग होगा और ऑपरेशनल प्लान. या सो दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई वांट यू ऑल टू, सॉरी फॉर माय हैंडराइटिंग, I call it ROO, which is read on your own. Yeah, so please read this table on your own and enjoy yourself. If you don't understand something, let me know. Yeah, अभी PY3 का मुझे आंसर बताओ. Can you read PY3 please? Nancy.
PY3. Management accountant has communicated a detailed budget to ensure that cost savings targets are achieved in the forthcoming period. This is an example of A, operational planning, B, tactical planning, C, strategic planning, D, management, business planning.
मैनेजमेंट अकाउंट बैठ के डिटेल बजट कम्युनिकेट कर रहा है, and he is giving cost saving target to be achieved to everybody. Everybody wants to save cost. Okay, Priyanjali is saying tactical.
Cost sharing में मतलब long term में.
For forthcoming period लिखा है.
Ma'am, tactical.
Tactical. Viraj is saying तुमको लग रहा है स्ट्रेटेजिक भी हो सकता है, कॉस्ट सेविंग से.
हाँ, forthcoming period मतलब वो एक फाइनेंशियल ईयर थोड़ी ना रहेगा.
कोई भी पीरियड रहता है, कोई भी पीरियड बराबर. तो व्हाट आर द ओपिनियंस फ्रॉम ईशा? स्ट्रेटेजिक प्लानिंग. ओके, व्हाट अबाउट योर आर्यन? व्हाट डू यू थिंक? स्ट्रेटेजिक है, टैक्टिकल है, ऑपरेशनल है?
टैक्टिकल है मैम.
अरमान?
प्रैक्टिकल.
अद्वैत, तुमने बोला क्या टैक्टिकल?
No, ma'am, I think it's strategic planning.
Okay, we are
Ma'am, tactical.
tactical. Okay. Yes.
मैम टैक्टिकल है शायद से.
Mariam?
Ma'am, tactical.
Aisha?
Ma'am, it is somewhere between tactical and strategic. I'm not sure.
You have to finally make up your mind. Everybody here, you both are saying same. You are saying strategy and you are saying strategy. So I also feel it's tactical. Yeah, we'll see the answer behind, of course. Tactical. तुमने देख लिया. तुम्हारा अभी देख.
Answer करेगा.
But कल लगेगा बिल्कुल next time answer देगा. Yeah. So it is tactical, no? Yeah. Why tactical? Because I'll tell you कि management accountant है पहली बात. The moment you read accountant, वो strategic level का तो नहीं है. अगर बोला होता था कि board of directors are sitting and thinking of ways of cost saving, हम बोलते थे strategic चाहिए. Management accountant तुम्हारा बीच में है. तो तुम अगर मैनेजमेंट अकाउंटिंग पढ़ोगे तो तुम मैनेजमेंट अकाउंटेंट बनोगे तो टैक्टिकल लेवल में जाओगे. स्ट्रेटेजिक लेवल नहीं कर सकते.
मेरे वो शॉर्ट टर्म लॉन्ग टर्म के इससे.
हाँ, I know. I'll tell you what. Most of the time when you look at these situations ना, you can think from both sides. हम सोच सकते हैं कि कॉस्ट सेविंग, ये तो स्ट्रेटेजिक लेवल पे भी तो प्लानिंग हो सकती है कि कॉस्ट कैसे सेव किया जाए, राइट? एंड इट कैन बी इवन an operational thing also on a day-to-day basis how to save cost. Management update. Is that okay, everybody?
Ma'am, we missed
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
I know.
You were-
Something wrong with my connection. Yeah, so I was saying the end of the day, the moment you read management accountant, you know that we are talking tactical. That's what I was saying in conclusion. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, chalo. So with this, we are calling it a day because then when we move to cost, revenue, profit center, and so on and so forth, it's a whole new part of the chapter only altogether. Yeah. So we are done with the basics of management accounting. So when we meet, we are going to start with this cost, revenue, profit, and investment centers. Is that okay? So for tomorrow, again, I'll see you at the same time, 12 o'clock only, because I have to figure out na Riya ka class. Yeah. So for tomorrow we'll meet at the same time. Is that okay? Yeah. Tomorrow be on time, and there is an everyday homework that you have to read what we did in class. I know it's back to school days, but believe me, thank me for doing this. So 700 pages you cannot read in one day and it will go. Okay, chalo. So I'll see you tomorrow. Come on time, huh? With
Ma'am,
every
tomorrow
passing day. हाँ बोलो Mariam.
the classes are 12 only.
Yeah, you have school.
No, ma'am, I just have an event in college, but it's okay.
Events are not changing timing, huh? So then we are going to the event. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
तो मुझे क्या मिल जाएगा.